I am excited to go to Mars this morning.
Our collective perseverance is what has gotten us to this day.
People love space, whether it's looking up at the stars on a cloud-free night or debating the existence of aliens. There's no doubt about it, space and space travel has captivated us since we first saw stars. But the adventure of space doesn't just lie in history, they're also in our future. Today, we're counting down 10 insane space discoveries to look forward to in 2021, and the top spot will blow your mind harder than a rocket ship. All of these were taken from the official NASA calendar, but they come from all around the world. Number 10. Let's start with a little hope. The United Arab Emirates mission goes into Mars orbit scheduled for February, but specific dates not yet confirmed. Emirates Mars mission, otherwise known as HOPE, is a Mars orbiter mission. It was originally launched from the Takanoshima Space Center in Japan at 21:58 Universal Time on the 19th of July 2020, but its mission is far from over. HOPE will orbit Mars and study the various dynamics of the Martian atmosphere. It will also look at how the atmosphere interacts with outer space and the solar wind. The primary scientific objectives are to search for weather connection. These are the ones between the current Martian weather and the ancient climate of Mars, which might give us a look into its history. The study will look at the lost planetary mechanisms of Mars' atmosphere, which has recently been found to have once held water. It will do this by tracking the escape of hydrogen and oxygen, along with behaviors of the weather. There are 2 years of science operation planned, which are estimated to move into motion around the beginning of May 2021, but there's no official date yet. Number 9. Kicking off the year. The NASA Lunar Halo Orbiter, precursor for Lunar Gateway, scheduled for January, exact date not confirmed. The Cislunar Autonomous Positioning System Technology Operations and Navigation Equipment, otherwise known as CAPSTONE, is a 12U CubeSat that does not need to be manned by an onboard presence. It's been specifically designed to go into one of the several halo orbits around Earth and to closely match the Moon's orbit. The primary objective of doing this are to demonstrate the ability of spacecraft to spacecraft navigation in this orbit. It also endeavors to verify the feasibility of this orbit so to gain experience for future flights. These will be able to use similar orbits. It's also a precursor to the possible Gateway lunar orbiting outpost that's been discussed. CAPSTONE will travel for just 3 months under its own propulsion, but its findings will be immensely useful. Number 8. The Trojan isn't a horse. The launch of NASA flyby mission to multiple Trojan asteroids scheduled for October 16th. The Lucy mission is designed to make flyby observations of a total of 7 asteroids. It will be looking at 1 main belt asteroid and further 6 asteroids. They are all orbiting ahead of or behind Jupiter and are known as Trojan asteroids, a clever callback to real-life legends. Lucy is scheduled to launch on October 16, 2021. Number 7. Finding ice might mean finding life. The launch of NASA CubeSat mission to find lunar water ice. The Lunar Flashlight is a modified 6U CubeSat mission and not the only CubeSat on our list. It's designed to go into polar orbit around the Moon. From there, its main objective will be to search for water in the shadowed polar regions where there's a reasonable belief that it might be. Scientists want to find locations on the lunar surface where water in the form of ice is present at concentrations that might suggest supporting life. The spacecraft will make observations from an elliptical near rectilinear polar orbit. These will be between altitudes of 12.6 and 52.4 kilometers. The mission is going to be 2 months long. Number 6. Scouting for trouble. The launch of a NASA CubeSat mission to fly by a near-Earth asteroid at some point towards the end of the year. The Near-Earth Asteroid Scout, otherwise known as NEA Scout, is one that sounds much more critical than its launch date might suggest. The mission will be using a 6U CubeSat and will involve a solar sail to fly by and then return images of a near-Earth asteroid 1991 VG. The primary objectives of this mission is to make a minimum of 1 slow, close flyby so it can return the images. Scientists can then observe the asteroid's position in space, shape, rotational properties, spectral class, local dust and debris field, regional morphology, and regolith properties. The spacecraft is scheduled to be a ride-on mission on the Archimedes 1, which will launch towards the end of 2021. Number 5. Red Planet roving. NASA rover and rotorcraft land on Jezero crater on Mars, scheduled for February 18th. The Mars mission involves landing a large roving vehicle called Perseverance on the surface of Mars. From there, it's going to conduct mobile studies which will focus on the surface environment. It's going to concentrate on habitability, past life, and sample collection for future missions. The spacecraft itself has three major components. There are the entry systems, the descent and landing system, and the rover itself. The primary science objectives of Mars are to identify past environments to see if they were capable of supporting microbial life, seeking signs of possible living things. 4. NASA announcements. Not as technical, but still exciting. More than 12,000 people applied to be an astronaut between March 2nd and March 31st of 2020, and those applications are now in discussion. Next year, we'll get to see who's in the next generation of space adventure. Number 3. Probing Venus. The Parker Solar Probe is designed to orbit the Sun, which involves some seriously high-end technologies. It's going to be making several close approaches so that it can attempt to trace the flow of energy and study the heating of the solar corona. Nothing to do with the virus. It's also going to explore the acceleration of solar winds. The Parker Solar Probe was already launched on the 12th of August 2018 and has done 4 flybys of Venus already as it withstands the heat and sends back data. According to NASA's site, its main objectives are listed as to trace the flow of energy that heats and accelerates the solar corona, to determine the structure and dynamics of the plasma and magnetic fields at the source of the solar wind, and to explore mechanisms that accelerate and transport energetic particles. Number 2. Reaching Mars. The Chinese orbiter, lander, and rover mission will reach Mars sometime in February. The Chinese orbiter mission will make a 7-month trip to Mars. It will be arriving and going into polar orbit on February 2021, but no specific day is set. The orbiter will use high-resolution cameras to reach for the best landing site for the lander and its accompanying rover. They will separate from the orbiter and each other and make a landing somewhere in the Utopia Planitia region. Number 1. There's nothing cooler than blowing things up. The Double Asteroid Redirection Test, or DART mission, scheduled for July 22nd. As we said, there's nothing cooler than blowing things up, so this one takes the top spot. The Double Asteroid Redirection Test, otherwise known as the DART mission, is designed to evaluate the kinetic impact technique. This will be valuable in planetary protection. It will be done by striking an asteroid with a spacecraft at high velocity, which is relative to its size, and then observing the resulting change in orbit. NASA says that its primary objective is to assess kinetic impact as a method. This will be used for redirection of any future asteroids which are found to be on a trajectory to impact Earth and which might be dangerous. The test involves flying the DART spacecraft into the smaller of 2 asteroids, both of which are co-orbiting the Earth in a binary pair. They will be using Earth-based observations both before and after the impact to study the effects on the orbit. If you like this video, please don't forget to leave us a like to support the channel so that we can continue to bring you more great content. Your support means the world to us. We see every subscriber as part of our crew. So be sure to like, comment, and ring the notification bell if you want to fly forward to spectacular, space-tacular content and more.